Okay, 84, problem 5, the last one of this section. Rules again, the identities that you probably want to use, and this is the actual problem. Of course, as we did before, we start with the more complex side. Usually they're written so that the left is the more complex. Well, what are you doing here? You're adding fractions. How do you add fractions? You find a common denominator. Your common denominator will be cosine theta times 1 minus sine theta. That's what it's going to be. So you change both fractions to that denominator. All right, on the leftmost fraction, you already had the cosine, so you need to multiply by the 1 minus sine. That's what you need to multiply by. Okay, over here you already had the 1 minus sine, so you're going to need to multiply the cosine both top and bottom. Okay, what happens? That becomes 1 minus sine quantity squared. Cosine times cosine is cosine squared. Now, we still have to kind of go through and simplify that a little bit. So we expand that. Remember how we square the first term, we multiply them together and double it. That gives us a negative 2 sine theta. We square the last term of the binomial. We bring the cosine squared down. At this point, simplify anything that you can. Sine squared plus cosine squared ought to be beaming and saying, I'm real special. I make 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So now you have 2 minus 2 sine theta. Can that be factored? Yes, you could factor a 2 out of it. If you factor a 2 out, 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 sine theta divided by 2 is sine theta. So 2 onto 1 minus sine theta. Write it again. Those two will cancel. The 1 minus sine thetas cancel. Then you have 2 over cosine. 2 over cosine. Cosine is the reciprocal of secant. So when cosine's on the bottom, you can change it to secant. So it becomes 2 secant. So we've taken the left side, worked through, and made it 2 secant, which is the same thing the right side was. So both sides are the same. We've established the identity here. Now let's go over here and see what they want with the My Math Lab actual problem over here. All right. What happened with the left side? We ended up with the 1 minus sine quantity squared plus cosine squared. Then it said to kind of simplify that and expand. That would be 1 minus 2 sine plus sine squared. Then we got 2 minus 2 sine theta. Then you factored it and you've reduced. They didn't show those steps over here, and that's 2 over cosine. And then that turns into 2 secant by using the reciprocal property. So we filled in their blanks. Sometimes I think that's the hardest thing, is to fill in their blanks and be sure that you're filling in exactly what they want, even though you're doing the proof correctly.